I like how you already have the comb over going, like you're already losing your hair.
Dude, I ain't never look at this shit. I ain't never gonna lose hair. Look how fucking thick that shit is.
No, that's one thing I gotta commend you, man. Being so old as you are and still having
I've never seen a
long.
bald
I
mix.
still can't grow a full beard though.
Having your hair in your 70s is a real
It's a trade-off.
accomplishment.
It's like Sean always says, he's got the trade-off. Like I have a full head of hair, but I'll probably never be able to grow a full beard. See what I mean?
No, I don't get how you can't grow facial hair.
No, I can grow it here. Like I can grow a full goatee, but I can't. Like
What is there not to get, Ronnie? You just fucking.
It's
can't.
like, they call you dirt, but I'm like, I'm Joe Deere Takes. It grows in all white trashy like that and shit.
Well, so does mine.
I'm not gonna lie. When you visited me, dude, that was the finest my facial hair game has been since then.
It was still pretty terrible.
Oh,
Marco, I just want you to grow out a mustache one time.
All right, I got you. No, I was gonna say like sometimes, like when I shave, I usually like I'll shave all this just to see how fucking ridiculous it looks, and it looks as ridiculous as you think it does. But I'll take a picture for you.
You are now tuned in to this week's episode of our podcast. Today we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. By sharing our collective expertise, we will show you how to harness, control, and use your own skill set to achieve ultimate success and live the life you want. And now, please welcome your host.
That's Marco. I'm host of the Anomalies podcast, Tanner, and we're doing a cold open. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Go fuck yourself, trash man, Ronnie out in California. Tyler Allen out in Nebraska, our sound guy, and our special guest tonight, the comedian down in Texas, Jay.
I'm doing all right, fellas. How we doing? Thanks for having me.
Hold up, your name's Jay. I just call you Cowboy.
We don't even call you Cowboy. Like sometimes we'll just send the emoji for Cowboy. And
Just a cowboy emoji.
I'll respond to anything as long as it's nice.
You have been just an emoji before.
it
Hey,
felt dirty
so-
calling you Jay the first time. Not gonna lie.
Jay, I'll take
From
whatever.
now on, can we just refer to you as Cowboy?
What's that?
I'm done calling you. I'm done calling you Jay. Can we just call you Cowboy?
Chameleon Cowboy. Someone called me Chameleon the other day. That was pretty funny. I'll take whatever.
I'm not doing that. Marco, you good?
Worked on phonics worked for some people.
Oh, Marco turned on his loud ass fan.
Can you hear it? Is it loud?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, I get hot. You know how it is for fat guys. Tanner, shut up.
I thought that was a Mexican thing.
No, apparently I'm super white, so it happens.
So
Very white.
to introduce our guest, Chameleon Cowboy on Twitter, right? At Chameleon Cowboy. I believe so.
No, I got to learn how to change that. It's at my full name. It's at Richards JS, JAYS, I think.
Oh, all right.
It was the one I made in 2012. I'm an old man. I can't figure out how to change it. That'll change soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, we can help you with that. Well, anyways, Cowboy's a blogger for Pro Sports Extra, who we just joined up with and announced that last episode. And he's also going to be doing some podcasting, covering the PBR, Professional Bull Riders. And he's an aspiring bull rider himself. He's trying to figure that out someday. He grew up in New England. He's a masshole. And now he lives in Texas. Sounds like he's lived 1,000 lives, but at the ripe age of 25, the dude decided that his future wants to be in a ring surrounded with way too big animals. So can you explain just exactly where you came from and how the hell you ended up on this path, my friend?
Sure. I'll give you a brief synopsis. Born and raised in suburbs of Boston, about 15 years, and then moved to Chicago for high school. My dad relocated out there and then went to TCU in Fort Worth, Texas for school. I dropped out halfway through, enlisted in the Marine Corps. Now that I'm out, I got my degree. I lived in Tampa with the Marine Corps, San Diego with the Marine Corps. I played college baseball at TCU as a bullpen catcher. That's pretty much it. Now I work for a financial company. I'm a Cube monkey here in Dallas. So we'll see. And now I'm trying to
what
become
monkey?
a Cube monkey.
Oh, Cube.
Nothing. Yeah. So
When were
that's
you
pretty.
stationed in San Diego?
I shouldn't say station. I was up there for about 6 months training. I was in amphibious assault with the Marine Corps, so we drive those floating tanks.
One of my buddies was a mechanic that was basically stationed in San Diego his whole time in.
Oh, I probably met him if he was with amphibious assault.
Yeah, he worked on just about everything. He was like the go-to guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, small fucking world.
Very small world, dude, especially the Marine Corps.
How the fuck did you get into rodeo stuff? That's the real question.
Never even did it. I did like trail riding and I cleaned up shit for someone's barn in Boston. That was like my first job, but never rode anything really. I came down here to TCU and they had the stockyards in the Fort Worth area. And I went to those rodeos for like free basically as a student. And I was like, this is the craziest thing in the world. And like, no one seemed to love it. So it's, been a dream of mine to promote the sport because those guys are all fucking crazy. And I think they don't get enough credit for it. So
definitely not. It's a interesting way to earn a living, that's for sure.
Yeah, not much of one either.
No.
Really seems like you're well liked by PBR. I mean, your blogs are always getting retweeted and shared by the CEO of PBR, and you've talked to a bunch of riders. You're starting up your own podcast, All Hat No Cattle. Go ahead and follow that on Twitter and whatnot. And our man Tyler is going to be doing the producing for it, and I'm trying to help you as best as I can with my limited knowledge of podcasting. But I mean, it seems like you've already made some pretty fast inroads into the sport. Can you talk about how you've gone about building those relationships?
Sure. It all started with like a random throwaway blog. I've been writing for Pro Sports Extra for a little bit, and it was mostly like smut and funny stuff. And then I just wrote one throwaway blog being like, hey, now if there's no football, hockey's over, you should watch bull riding because it's awesome. And then that instantly got an email from the head of PR at PBR. They're like, hey, we love this. We want to continue it. So I kind of changed courses and started doing more research, following it more, and I started blogging about it, and they loved it. That's pretty much it. It kind of shocked me as much as it shocked, Trevor and everyone else at Pro Sports. But it's been nice. They don't have much coverage. They have a couple guys that have like a monopoly on it who are good, but they're a little bit more suit and tie type people. So I think PBR is kind of liking what we're doing. First podcast we had got pulled because of a few buckle bunny comments, blah blah blah, drinking comments. So we'll see where the line that we can't cross is, but I think it's in the pre stages, but it'll be good. We'll see how it goes.
So they reached out to you though. That's got to be pretty dope. I mean, like you think that you got to put in all this time and all this hard work to get noticed, and they're like, hey, we like that shit.
Exactly. Never took a journalism class, and I wrote smut for Pro Sports Extra, and then this showed up. So I was like, hell, like I'll do it. And the fact that they're so receptive, so helping, hey, can we get you this? Can we get you to Vegas to cover it? All this stuff. I was like, hell yeah. You scratch my back, I'll sure as hell scratch yours. So PBR's been nothing but awesome for us. We just got to find out where we can cross that line, like I said.
It's just an interesting thing. It's such a, man's man type sport where a lot of the guys are kind of down and dirty and gritty, but there is still a line to it on the business end that's kind of different.
Exactly. And I think the guys, if they can let loose, like, hell, Pardon My Take does it so good. And if I can even do a quarter of what they do with that sport, it'd be great as far as loosening up people and making them feel like they're talking to a buddy rather than some guy in a suit holding a microphone in their face. That would be, I think, best for the sport. It's going to be difficult to explain that to, an older generation that's been doing the sport, that's basically run on, the Bible and all that stuff.
It seems that the only way to really do that anymore is the long form conversations like podcasting. You can't sit there in like a football locker room and have everybody has their little recorders up to their face or whatever. You're not going to get a true response that way. You have to have long form conversation. And I think the biggest thing, and it seems like the best thing for you to be able to do is to actually get those guys to do that with you on the podcast. So you'll get more of that,
No, absolutely. And the guys, as far as athletes go, I think they're the most obtainable in a professional sport. I've reached out to a bunch of guys I've never talked to on Instagram DMs, and almost immediately they respond back just like it's a friend. So like it's a very welcoming sport to it. And I think we can do really good things with it. And now that you guys are part of Pro Sports Extra, let's if you guys can help us out. Trashman, I know you got the family the rodeo clown, bullfighting, whatever you want to call them. I think, it's just kind of me doing this. We got a buddy in Marcus, and Tanner's helped us out a lot. So,
what kind of psycho do you got to be a rodeo clown?
A little crazy.
You got to be related to Trash Man. Think about it.
Now explain, because I don't know much about this culture. I know it's shocking, but
and he lives in Iowa.
I live in Iowa and I'm Mexican, so go figure. But for both of you guys to kind of explain both sides for the people like me that don't know a little bit about the bull riding side of things, and then Ronnie, like as much as you know about the rodeo clown aspect of all that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I was just wondering if you could kind of explain like that the bull riding aspect of everything, and then if Ronnie had a little bit more on the rodeo clown, you guys could kind of both break down how that goes.
Trash, I'll leave that to you, buddy.
All right, so basically, in bull riding, you're basically trying to ride a bull for 8 seconds. You're just trying to keep in the perfect forward lean, backward lean when it's going up, down, up, down, up, down. And it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of something you just have to feel. Like in my family, if you don't ride a bull, you're not a man type thing. So
I love that. Can you tell the podcast that story? When you said that to me, I laughed out loud. I think that's the coolest thing ever.
So when I was, God, how old was I? I want to say I was like 16 or so. My grandpa has always had the saying, you're going to sit at the kids' table until you get on one. You're going to sit at the kids' table until you get on one. And when I was younger, it was like, I thought it was a joke. But then I realized my 35-year-old uncle is still sitting at the kids' table because he never got on a bull.
What the fuck?
Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, here is my damn Uncle Mark sitting at the kids' table with his goddamn ponytail. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to sit at the kids' table anymore. So we're sitting there, and I was like, I don't want to sit at the kids' table anymore. I'm 15, 16 years old. I think I was 16 because I just got my driver's license. And I was like, Grandpa, I want to do it. My grandpa's blind. It's my blind grandpa. So he literally can't see you ride the bull. He just wants to hear about it. So it's like, all right, well, I'll call JD and we'll send you down there and we'll get you hooked up with a bull and everything. He said, just remember one thing. I'm like, what? He's like, if you get knocked out, you better wake up smiling. All right. So I show up, and here's my cousin, second, third cousin, whatever they are, JD, and he's sitting there, and he's just smiling. He has a shit-eating grin, Copenhagen falling out of his face. He's like, oh, you're finally going to do it, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finally do it. So he's like, all right, I'll kind of show you everything. He like showed me hand grip, showed me how to hold. He showed me kind of where I need to stay, chin down, keep your head away from it, everything like that. He's like, you don't want to lean too far forward because you don't want to get knocked out, but you don't want to lean too far back because you might get kicked in the head if you fall backwards. I'm like, this is stupid. This is the fucking stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some stupid stuff at this point. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's just do it. And keep in mind.
Had you been drinking?
No. Sober as a gopher.
Oh,
I was just sitting there and I just wanted to get it over with because Thanksgiving was coming up and I got tired of sitting there with my 35-year-old uncle.
Hold on. Did he ever say like why he just didn't do it?
So the reason he never did it is because he got on a bull one time and he was in the chute and he was getting ready to leave and my Uncle Kenny started fucking with him. My Uncle Kenny started jiggling the gate key, just waiting, just jiggling it. And when that gate key jiggles, your heart stops. You like have a small heart attack because you're like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. My Uncle Kenny did that to him about 4 times. And the 4th time he just got up. He said, fuck you guys. I'm never doing it. I'm calling your bluff. And he's been calling that bluff since he was 15 years old.
Your uncle sounds like a person.
anniversary is in, huh?
He kind of is. I mean, dude. I mean, he was you know, in the military. He was in the army. Like all this stuff. He came back from, you know, he was in a couple different wars, and he came back, and he's still sitting at the kids' table. That's just how my family is. It's fucking stupid.
He went to war, and he still had to sit at the kids' table because he rode and wear out a bull. Oh my god!
But anyways, so my Uncle Kenny. Back to the story. My Uncle Kenny is he's the one that's going to pull the gate open for me, and then he's also going to be my basically rodeo clown to help me out as soon as I get kicked off. And he's sitting there and he's doing the same thing. He's just jiggling the gate. And I look at him and I'm like, Kenny, you. And as soon as I said you, he pulls it. And I think I was on it for maybe 2 seconds, and I didn't have any core strength in me, nothing. And I got thrown like a rag doll into the gates. Like the gates open up, they hit back at the cattle guards, and then they swing back sometimes if you don't catch them right. Yeah. And it swung back, and I just knocked myself out on a gate. And I woke up to my uncle on one side, my cousin on the other side, and then my little cousin, who's 10, who at this time rides bulls like on the regular, laughing at me.
He's sitting at the man's table, but did you wake up smiling?
Oh, I woke up smiling. I was laughing my ass off. As soon as I look up and I look over and I see my Uncle Kenny and his shit-eating grin and his dentures falling out. It was just great. It was one of my more fond memories on that side of my family is actually
hold on. How did Uncle Kenny lose his teeth?
He's a bullfighter.
I just want to make sure.
You got kicked square in the suckle?
No. He so when you're trying to get a bull away from someone, you're supposed to like head up them, and then you're supposed to jump when the bull goes underneath you if you can't turn yourself. So you're supposed to jump and put your hands down just get thrown up. Yeah. So you're going to get fucked up by a bull if you do it. I've done a couple things with him when I was younger.
So like that thing we always think we can do when a car's coming, I'm like, fuck it. If I can't get around it, I'm just going to jump over it. Kind of. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, you basically do that with a bull.
Yeah, no, that's just basically.
How often do you have that thought, Marco? I've never had that thought.
Well, you know, like you see it in movies where like where the fucking car's running at them, they just like jump off the hood kind of thing.
So
that's what he's talking about doing with a bull with the horns.
Yeah, I got that, but I don't have that thought with cars like you psycho.
Yeah.
So,
Marco, you want to talk to someone?
What do you think I'm doing here, man?
We'll get you a helpline number.
This is my fucking support group.
You have a fucked up sport.
I know. You're over here talking about being forced to sit at the kids' table until you ride a bull. Like, yeah, it's a pretty fucked up group.
Oh, and as someone who's been ran over by a bull and a car, as long as you jump into the windshield of a car, it doesn't hurt as much.
Jesus.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm not gonna lie. The only time I've ever seen a car accident, like see my friend get hit by a car, is chasing our group poster into the car into traffic, and he goes diving for it. And all of a sudden, you see a car, and he just gets hit, and he rolls over. And I just immediately start laughing.
I was going to say,
person.
I love how you smile while you told that story.
His eyes light up like it's the greatest thing ever.
When I was like fucking 10, like my birthday is on the 13th. So when I was like 10, my birthday was on Friday the 13th, and we were having a birthday party, and I was on my bicycle that I had got the year before, and my dad was giving kids a ride around the block on his motorcycle that he had at the time. So I was following him one of the times, and he pulls out of the alley, and then this car, like he pulls out, and this car completely just goes after he goes past them. The car keeps going, doesn't see me, hits me, and I land on the goddamn hood so I fucking get ran over by a car on my fucking birthday on a bike that I got the year before. It was awesome.
I love how this just turned into this one time I got hit by a car.
Well, you're over here talking about getting fucking hit by bulls. I mean, yeah, we've been hit by shit.
Bulls, cars, almost a train.
I've been destroyed by bulls, but they were Holsteins and they were like actually breeding cattle, not stock. But
yeah, going to a branding and getting kicked in the ribs, not fun either.
Ooh.
You're just an idiot if that happens.
No, I'm not an idiot. I just do idiotic things.
Yeah, that kind of makes you an idiot.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
That textbook definition of an idiot: guy who does idiotic things.
Yup.
What can I tell you?
No, literally, what can you tell us? That's what makes the podcast funny.
Tell us, Ronnie, what other dumb shit have you done?
Hold on. Did you just send us a picture of you, Tanner?
Yeah, I sent it to Jay and Tyler last time, but in college we did this thing called Rodeo Roundup. The college I went to, University of Wisconsin River Falls, it's the only college rodeo team east of the Mississippi, and we have a huge equine program. And the rodeo team is the most important sports team there. The football team sucked. I guess the hockey team was good, but whatever. Yeah, so every year for my fraternity, we'd always help out, and we would, I don't know what you want to call it. We'd do all the bitch work pretty much, and we'd get in free, and then we'd go chase around the rodeo team, follow them when they went to all the other colleges for their different rodeos and help them get shit ready. But then every year the rodeo team's fundraiser, they did this thing called Rodeo Roundup where they'd bring in a whole bunch of 800-pound steers, and then they'd have teams of 4, and we'd have to do different events like cattle sorting, and then we did steer doctoring where literally 8 teams of 4, so 32 people are chasing after one steer, and the team that gets him down gets your color paint on it and then runs back to the gate fastest. That's how you win that one. And then there's one where you literally had to go catch a fucking steer, get one of your team members on it, and ride it for 8 seconds. And we dressed up as Mexicans. We wore ponchos, big mustaches, and sombreros.
Sorry, Marco.
Cultural appropriated motherfucker.
I think we called ourselves Los Sombreros. It still been 13.
Were you even fucking wearing sombreros?
What a name.
Yeah, I was. It just flew off when I was riding it.
Hell yeah.
It was 2013, so this is before I realized it was probably wrong to do that. Whatever.
I don't
2013.
I don't feel bad about it, but like we said before, find it on my Twitter. Ask me to apologize. I'll ask you to go fuck yourself because I don't care.
It was only wrong if
I never did blackface. Whatever.
Trey.
So, anyways, yeah, I was the one on my team who had the balls to go ride these things, and 800 pounds may sound light to you because bulls sometimes get over a ton, but an 800-pound animal that still has its horns on them, it still fucking hurts when you get kicked and fall thrown off by it. And I had to ride that thing 4 times to get my 8 seconds because I couldn't do it longer than 2 seconds each time. And yeah, I got the absolute ever-living shit kicked out of me. We all went to school the next day. Oh, by the way, we did this drunk as fuck because we're not idiots. We did that so we wouldn't feel pain. We went to class the next day because I always did it on a Thursday night. Our professors were literally thought we got into a gang war. Black eyes. My one buddy Asher took a horn through his chin, so he had to go to the hospital and get that stitched up. It was insane. One girl, Kayla Folk,
did they have more than one bull?
Steer, not bull. These are
did they have more than one steer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I think that's classified as gang war.
Oh, it could be.
It's a good point.
That's wild.
Could even be a hate crime, honestly.
Is it a hate crime if it's 2 different species?
What do you mean 2 different species? Humans and cattle? Is that what you're getting at?
Where do you report that to?
Well, it's
fucking Vita.
Hold on. So is this Planet of the Apes but with steers? That's what this is the war you were in.
You are a fucking idiot.
Hold on, I just want to get this on record.
What a dumb comment.
I just want to get this on record. Fuck PETA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they would come and protest that.
Right?
Every year, we
Take blood all
would
over.
reserve a session for them. We'd like rope it off.
Yeah.
I have a story for PETA. I once rode a steer back to the truck to get a 30-pack to go back to a party.
Hold on, can you get a DUI for that?
I'd probably get animal cruelty, though.
Well, I mean, it knew where to go, and it brought me back, too. It's just like a horse. It's just a steer.
Right? Yeah, just as long
Just
as it knows
like
where
a
you live,
horse,
it'll
but
get
it's-
you back.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? I didn't want to walk the 300 yards.
I'm sure riding a 2-ton animal really made it help.
It was no. He did not ride a 2-ton animal. No fucking way.
No, it wasn't 2-ton. It was probably about 700 pounds.
We're talking about California cows. Yeah, there's no way it's over. But
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
biggest ones produce milk.
What?
Usually.
That was a bad joke.
Oh, okay. So, Cowboy, you want to ride? You want to ride bulls? What's your path getting into it?
Okay, so I asked Dalton in Vegas, and he shot me down real quick if they had, like, a practice ball. I don't really know how it works. I was like, hey, you guys got something I can ride? But my true passion, I think, at the age of, what am I, 26 now? And I'm sore. I got busted up knees from catching baseball and all that stuff. I was like, hey, man, I can strap on some football cleats and be a rodeo clown. Like, let me fight some bulls. I don't really know how to get into it, but if I got a chance, I'd give someone a blank check to try it. I want that adrenaline rush. I think I could do it, like watching these people. I started with something slow, maybe like an older, ancient one, but I think I could do it. And I think I'd regret my whole life if I didn't at least try. I just don't know how to get into it.
you're gonna spend the rest of your fucking life at that kid's table if you don't try.
Exactly.
Well, so if you really are interested in it, the thing is the best way to do it is to find a junior rodeo around you and just ask.
But I'm afraid it'd be like me and like a bunch of like 12-year-old boys. And
No.
then a grown man.
Who gives a
Fish
shit?
a little pond.
Hey, make it content. Just make it content. That's all
Make
you
it
got to do.
So,
That's a good point.
so most junior rodeos I've ever been to, most of the time there's like one professional rodeo clown, and then there's like the kids' parents in the arena. It's not like a bunch of little kids. It's usually adults and then the kid who's in the event.
Oh, boom. Hey, there you go. Find
And then-
some fucking kid and drag him there with you. Just go to the Boys Girls Club, like, hey, I'm going to borrow this kid for the day. And then you can act like you're his dad. And then you can go ride the bull, too.
Yeah, perfect. And I'll call you from jail. You'll be my first call.
We'll send you
That's not a
Marco's
smart move.
phone
Don't
number,
worry, I'll call Saul.
routing. God.
No, I've
Borrow this kid.
I've emailed a bunch of people at the stockyards here at the arena, and I have got no responses. So I'm losing hope. So I might just be a streaker in bull riding and give it a go. Put on clown mask and jump the fence and give it a go.
I got another
That's
idea.
content.
You need to just find a local college that has a rodeo team and reach out to them.
Hey, that's
And
actually a good
whether
idea.
you have to enroll in a class to become a student or what, but you can join those teams, and they have to teach you. Like, by all rights, they have to teach you. And the coaches for those are usually retired riders. And I mean, a lot of them are retired professionals. So that's how a lot of guys up here got into it.
Yeah.
Believe
I
it.
know TCU had a ranch management school that's apparently like the Harvard. I could be completely making this up.
man.
Go to a really good ranch management
Hey,
school.
no, on this podcast, everything's legit. Just say it.
Yeah,
That's way too big of a school. You need to find like Fort Hays State or even smaller. For reference, the schools that my college went against was like Dickinson State and what's the one out in Tyler, Nebraska? Tyler, there's a whole bunch of small ones out by you.
Oh, there is?
There's a whole bunch of small
They're that
colleges,
small.
like in
Corn
towns
fed.
with like 4,000 people in Nebraska.
Yeah, that's all in like the northern part of the state.
Yeah, I
which
forget the names of them, but Great Plains Tech and shit like that. Like, you have to find ones that like they just sound like they have a rodeo team.
Cornrow
I know
University.
Norfolk does.
Fuck it, I'll just start looking them up for you.
It's great podcasting.
Great podcasting.
But as far as bull running goes, just to kind of finish it off, like it's such an easy sport. Like me knowing nothing about it, never watching it on TV, not knowing a single name. Like it's just so. I mean, you got to last 8 seconds. There's a couple variations of it, but it's one of those sports where it's so cool because half your score that you get is based on an animal. So if you consider yourself an animal lover, hell, you don't have to root for a single human being. You can root for this huge angry dog that set records. There's one right now, I'm blanking on his name, but he has 35 consecutive cutoffs or buck-offs, and he's on pace to set like a record for the most buck-offs. So like, even if you don't know a thing, like it's so easy to figure out, and it's fun. It's like NASCAR where you don't have to follow it on TV, but if you go, you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And that's kind of how I got hooked. And I think like PBR they're kind of behind the 8 ball because it's a tough sport to grow, but like I think younger generation would love it with the whole flag football comment with the NFL. It's getting soft, blah blah blah. We still have this sport where people ride 2,000-pound animals. And it's like a Boston kid like me loves it. Like, why can't anyone else? Like all my friends I tell about, like, hey man, like this is a cool sport. Never seen it. Everyone that goes to a rodeo, everyone that goes to a bull running event loves it. So I love it. So why not grow it?
So are those guys active on social media, like the riders, or is it?
Yeah, I'd say most of them, but they're not like big. They have like 2,500 followers.
Right.
So they're not huge, but I mean they're.
Well, I would also think a lot of the fans aren't necessarily like on Twitter and shit like that. Everybody's got a Facebook, but
yeah, Facebook's big, but I wish they were more active, to be honest. But I mean, they are on there. I'd say the most active are the bullfighters, the rodeo clowns. They're fun.
I bet their Instagrams are fucking legit.
Every single video I see come across my feed is like, holy shit, like, this is insane.
Well, the big time ones, I mean, they're like bullfighter / comedian half the fucking time. So
they're entertainers, man. It's
yeah.
And Cowboy, didn't you tell me that PBR is now owned by the same company that owns UFC?
I didn't tell you that. I have no idea. Are they?
I thought you were the one. Maybe it was Marcus. I could have sworn that said because they're training at the same performance institute that UFC is. I thought.
Yeah, they just got a new place in Colorado. They could have UFC guys there, but it's this huge. It almost looks like a college recreation football campus type thing, and that's kind of their big down payment on growing the sport. But it's pretty impressive. To bring in like young kids in as young as like 14 to train there and get good.
Right.
But I think it's a sport. People love to be like, oh, sports are so soft nowadays. Like, holy shit, we still have gladiators riding animals. Like, if you put your money where your mouth is, if you want to see some serious shit where people get killed and ride a car crash, like, this is your sport.
It's been the same shit since the days of Lane Frost. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's never going to change because it is that hard hat and like hard-headed type folk that won't let it change.
Yeah, and I hate these people, but the people that hate like NFL celebrations, they like their athletes humble. I have never met a single bull rider that is not the most extremely humble person in your entire life. So if you like humble athletes, like you'll never find a single humble athlete as humble as these bull riders.
Wait until you get into team roping.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like,
it is the same company. Endeavor owns UFC and owns PBR. So they train at the same performance institutes, which is supposed to like explode their social media.
What's his name? There's a former Pittsburgh lineman, I think D end. He like runs and trains PBR now. He switched. I gotta find his name, Antoine something. And he he's like, hey, I've never been in the sport, but I run this training facility, and now I strictly train PBR riders, and he's like obsessed with them. So
That's
like,
pretty cool.
It's a cool crossover, and it shows that like if you love sports, like you can like bull riding.
Yeah, it's bull riding something that like just about anybody can jump on a bull, but to do it safely and to be strong enough to do it, it's a completely different thing. The higher up you get, the higher up those bulls get. It's
Absolutely.
It's gonna hurt.
I still want to try it.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell you not try it. I think it's something that if you want to do it, you should definitely do it before you die, type thing. You either have that switch in your head or you don't.
I don't.
I'd try it.
Marco, that's content. Someone that's
I'll jump out of plane. I'll bungee jump. I just don't see myself getting on a fucking bull. Just don't see it.
Come out to California. I'll set you up with a bull that won't hurt you too bad.
I'll bring the camera.
I'd be one of those insane humans that would run in Spain with the running of the bulls. I wouldn't hop on one.
You don't want to do the running of the bulls.
I'm good.
My dad, when he was stationed over there, when he was in the Navy, he said my dad rode a bull 3 times a week from the time he was 15 until he was 18 years old. And he said the stupidest thing he's ever done is done the running with the bulls.
Okay, then.
Good to know.
Because it's the bulls are 3 times more aggressive. They're bigger somehow, which makes zero fucking sense.
Are they?
And I think the bulls that we ride around here are like 1,300 pounds. My dad said they were about 1,400 to 1,500 pound bulls that run faster than a normal bull that's in the States. And they don't shave their horns.
Why would anybody want to do that?
My dad's an idiot, so of course he wanted to do it. But he said that the second he
fall from the tree.
It is what it is.
The same reason people jump out of airplanes.
Yeah. No, I haven't done it, but I mean, fuck it.
My dad's jumped out of airplanes too. It's another story. But yeah, no, he said it was the stupidest thing he's ever done. He said between that and I think the first time he ever rode a Bronco were the 2 worst experiences of his life. And he's lost his eye. So
the Bronco thing, I don't get too far.
Was it O.J. Simpson's?
Yeah, he rode that Ford Bronco. White Ford Bronco. What was it? An '88 Ford Bronco?
92.
Was it? We're just throwing out
Ford
numbers.
Bronco.
One of us will hit it.
Huh.
I don't remember.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's bull riding. So you can get the ride pass. You can go to pbr.com. It's pretty easy. $100 a year. You get basically this thing that's exactly like Red Zone. You get not just bull riding. You get roping. You get everything. So as far as plug-in PBR goes, because they help us, I'm going to help them. pbr.com and ride pass. Get it for cheap. They got a sale going on.
Sounds good. Cowboy, we can talk about bull riding until you're blue in the face, I think, but there is more to you. You're from New England. You're a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. You guys can just keep eating your hearts out. But we got to do some football talk because, well, that pretty much consumes our life right now. Even Marco, who is fresh on to being a Browns fan. How is your first year of being a football fan going, Marco?
I thought about that this morning. But my buddy told me, and the funny thing is, my buddy told me this a couple weeks ago, and he's a 49ers fan, and we watched the game together. And he said, I can't remember what, or maybe it was right after the Ravens win, and he goes, enjoy it. It goes up and down. And I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, it felt so awesome to beat the Ravens, and then it was as soon as, Berthea busted off that run in the first possession, I was like, oh, this game's over. Like, I knew I was just miserable from that point on because I knew that they were too fast, they were too good, and we weren't going to be able to keep up with them. And Baker was going to get frustrated because the O-line wasn't going to do shit, and they didn't. And I love George Kittle. He's a Hawkeye, but god damn it, that son of a bitch is hard to play against.
And just think, Browns fans have been feeling like this forever.
No, they always felt like there was no high though. They just didn't win forever. And now like when they do win, they're like showing potential, and then when they lose, it's just like what the fuck.
But you realize you're getting like
I know.
Miami quality wins. Like it'd be, oh my god, the Browns beat New England for once in a 10-year period, you know?
I don't think they'll beat New England. Come on now.
Oh, okay, I gave them too much hope.
Hey,
but I mean,
I didn't think we had any fucking chance against the Ravens, so never say never. I mean, I doubt that anybody's gonna catch the Patriots sleeping, but it can happen.
TA, your Chargers, man. You like it where they're at?
No. That was
Even with quarterback.
I don't know what happened. Just like stellar play before he came back, and all of a sudden we're just nosediving.
They're really letting me down.
A little bit.
I had high hopes for the fucking Chargers this year.
It's like they picked it up in the fourth quarter, but it was like too little, too late, fellas.
Right.
Shut up, Ron. Shut the fuck up.
Go ahead. What are your fucking ratings? What do you have to say?
I honestly had about 5 heart attacks watching that Raiders-Bears game on my phone since goddamn DirecTV gives me the Sunday ticket, yet they don't let me watch every game. Makes no sense. But anyways, aside that, who would have thought when we did our little NFL breakdown that only 2 of us would have winning teams? And who thought those winning teams would – well, we knew the Packers would be a winning team at the beginning of the season. But me?
No. Yeah, I think one more win and they're going to beat my projection for the year.
Yeah. And we have a bye week. I don't have to have a heart attack. My wife will enjoy me for a weekend without having a heart attack.
Bye week's the worst.
And then we get – it is, but when you have a bye week going into a game that is going to be really tough, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I did like having 10 days of rest before Dallas. That was nice.
Because we went from the Bears defense that sucked to the Packers next, which should be fun.
Just run the ball.
That's all we're probably going to do.
I don't know. We were able to contain Ezekiel Elliott to less than 200 yards. Our run defense is I don't know, man. We got flashes of greatness, and then we got flashes of total incompetence. But I just have to say 2 things. Number 1, we dropped 31, 34, whatever points on the Dallas Cowboys defense without Devontae Adams. And number 2, Dak Prescott should be making $10 million a year at most. He's a fucking game manager. That guy ain't worth $30 million a year. If I was Jerry Jones, I wouldn't re-sign him worth a damn.
Question, just to test
No
this.
way.
Just to test how much you don't like Dak Prescott. Because I know how much you don't like this other guy. Would you rather have Dak Prescott or Derek Carr as your quarterback at this moment?
To play for the Cowboys? Or
yes, who would be better on the Cowboys?
On the Cowboys, I think I'm still sticking with Dak Prescott just because of the offense. But I'd say like 18 out of the 32 teams, Derek Carr is the better fit. Is that fair? Because Jason Garrett's offense has just become completely revolved around Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. But Derek Carr, if he can continue whatever semblance of like relevance he has, he could come back in to prove me wrong. But you have to admit, last year he played like dog shit. He was Kirk Cousins bad last year.
I wouldn't say Kirk Cousins bad, but he wasn't good. That's for sure.
It was rough.
He was sacked more than I think almost every quarterback in the NFL last year.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you get sacked. Still got to be able to throw the ball.
When you're getting hit on every play, though.
Cowboy, could you fucking use your Patriots superpowers and tell them to start throwing the ball to Josh Gordon more?
That's above my pay grade. I can't do that.
He's the most talented wide receiver in the league, and they're using him like he's like a fifth stringer. Pisses me off.
It's a system.
How do the Patriots always, no matter if it's a big name, small name, anything, they always have like 2 or 3 even wide receivers that are just like, what the fuck? Most time it's guys you don't even fucking think about. Like, I get Tom Brady's that good, and I get Bill Belichick's a fucking genius. But you would think that at least one other coach would fucking figure it out.
I mean, kudos to Pat McAfee, because when Dorsett went up there in the Jacoby Brissett trade, he flat out said, he's like, that was the best wide receiver in practice. He was outperforming T.Y., you know. So he predicted him pulling the big things off in New England long before he even made the team. And now he's showing off. I mean, dude's going to get paid somewhere.
I mean, you can plug anyone in that system, and it's no secret. You know, you could take me, take Marco, put us in a slot. We'll get some passes thrown to us.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. Maybe you, Marco.
Hey, I climb ladders all fucking day. I'm quick for a fat guy.
Doesn't mean you're going over the middle. You won't even ride a bull. You want to get hit by a Mack truck?
I mean, like Ronnie said, you know, you get all fucking suited up and you take one, you'll wake up eventually. As long as you wake up with smiling, it's all right, right?
It's not sitting at that kid.
The callbacks.
No, man, Patriots. It's tough because I don't. It's gone to the point where I'm afraid to admit that I'm a Patriots fan, especially down here in Dallas, because you just get spit on. But like, goddamn, I've been blessed since I was a kid, you know. So like, I don't know anything other than this, so I don't really have anything else to say. I just piss everyone off, so I don't really say anything. I just enjoy
the least cringeworthy Patriots fan I've ever talked to.
Yeah, you're a lot nicer than most Patriots fans.
You think so? I feel like a lot of us are like me, and if they're not, they're just dicks.
Oh, pretty much every other Patriots fan I've ever met, I've just wanted to punch in the fucking throat.
Fun fact, I was at the Raiders-Chiefs game. I know, it was horrible. But the only time I ever thought that there was going to be escalated violence, other than the black guy asking me where the brothers are at, was the one time.
It was brothers.
Brothers. Okay, we were just sitting there cooking, and a Patriots fan walked by in a Brady jersey, and someone made a tuck rule joke, and the guy said something about the Patriots being the best team in football and becoming a masshole. That was the only time I thought someone was going to get shot. You
saw knives getting pulled?
Really? I mean, that's pretty ballsy. That guy to be wearing a Brady jersey at that game.
No shit. I saw an Aaron Rodgers jersey, a Brady jersey. I saw a Chargers jersey at a Raiders-Chiefs game.
Wow.
Texans. There was just random teams everywhere. There was a Cowboys fan. I don't get it. Do people just go to football games just to go?
Hold on. A bunch of years back, me and a bunch of buddies went up to Iowa City to watch one of the Hawkeyes games, and we parked at a golf course nearby. It was one of those early games, started drinking early. This kid's walking by. He must have been 12, 13 years old. And he was walking, and we were playing against Michigan, and he was walking with his parents, and he's wearing the Michigan jersey. And, I mean, we might have fucking talked shit to the kid as he was walking by, and we might have done it in front of his parents. But you know what? Fuck you. You showed up to the game. You're going to get made fun of.
You really were meant to be a Browns fan.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, if he's going to fucking wear that jersey, he knew what he was doing.
Marco is either meant to be a Browns fan or a Bills fan. One of the two.
I can get down some Bills Mafia.
Dude, the Bills are going to make the playoffs, and I called it.
God.
I called it.
And what did I said that the 49ers are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, he did. Fucking, what'd you say, 11 wins, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, well, it happens. apparently I don't know shit about football. Fantasy football is going down. I was so pissed on when I was on my way. I was watching that Browns game, and then homeboy ran off an 87-yard touchdown. I was like, fuck, I wonder who's got him. Motherfucker's on my bench. He had like 27. I lost by like 10, 15 points this week. I had Matt Ryan. I had Matt Ryan sitting on my bench with 28 points. Baker got me -2. And then I had that San Francisco running back had 28 points sitting on my bench. I was so fucking pissed.
God damn.
Yeah.
Fantasy football.
I'm good at football. I know. One thing I'm good at is the MMA. I don't know if anybody got a chance to see UFC 243 in Melbourne.
Didn't watch it.
Marvel Stadium. Marvel bought out the rights to the stadium out there. So it's literally called Marvel Stadium, and it is that Marvel. So that's pretty
Fuck Disney.
Ronnie, if Ronnie could get in the cage and fight anybody on Earth, it would be Mickey Mouse.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh,
Walt Disney.
that would be
I
awesome.
mean, if somebody had to represent Walt Disney, it'd be Mickey Mouse, that's who.
He's already got gloves.
They broke the attendance record. It was previously 56,000, which was just another UFC event, but they hit 57,127 people. The biggest crowd I've ever been in was like, I don't know, probably 15, 20,000 for a UFC event. I don't know how many people are in Madison Square Garden, but I've been there. That's got to be loud as fuck. If you didn't get a chance to see Israel Adesanya's walkout, it's by far the best walkout I've seen in my 20 years of fandom. Next to Jason Mayhem Miller, he did a pretty incredible walkout one time in Japan with he had a bunch of girls dressed up as the little schoolgirl outfits, and they were dancing, and he was dancing with them. This is a number one over that one. It was pretty dope. He had 3 of his lifelong friends. The dance culture in Africa is huge. And he got together with 3 of his friends. They choreographed his walkout. It was awesome. And even they were in Australia, and he had all of them on their feet. It was pretty awesome. And I actually wasn't going to watch the fight, and I hadn't watched any of it. And then I was on Twitter and I saw his walkout, and I was like, no. I was like, fuck that. I got to watch this fight. So I ended up, finding it, and I'm glad I did. It was a war. It only lasted 2.5 rounds, or no, second. It ended at halfway through the second round, and it was a war right away. They were throwing blows back and forth. Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya, but Adesanya came out on top. Just caught him with he got caught with a hook at the same time he threw his own hook and then landed. I believe it was right cross, put Whittaker down, and he threw a couple more punches. Ref stopped it. Immediately called out Paulo Costa, who was there. But a lot of people are saying he should move up and fight John Jones. Thoughts?
Yeah, I want to see it.
I do too.
I just like watching John Jones fight.
I think their styles would actually be really
Very
fun
similar.
to watch in the cage together.
They're very unorthodox, rangy,
Precise.
Israel Adesanya is, he's called style bender. He's like Anderson Silva 2.0. He's very accurate. He's not very big. Robert Whittaker looked much stronger than him, but the weight he does have, he knows how to carry it. I'd like to see him fight John Jones, but I think he'll fight Paulo Costa next, and he'll just continue to. He's gonna be around for a long time. And shout out for Africa MMA, we've got 2 African champions now. Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman beat Tyron Woodley 6 months back. And,
You were good.
yeah. So those guys are making a come up. So it's pretty cool.
Africa is a come up, man.
Yeah.
In everything. In sports, in tech right now, you're hearing about some really cool things going on in Nigeria. And I mean, I could geek out about agriculture, but that is going to take over the world for farming pretty soon.
For real?
Dude, there's So we have a finite number of productive acres in this world, right, where we can like grow food. Africa's using like 7% of all of them, but of theirs, excuse me. They're using 7% of theirs right now. So if you think about it, they're only going to get more technologically advanced. Their economies are only going to become more stable, and their people are only going to become wealthier where they want more food, and they're just going to start farming. And there's a reason they call that area the Fertile Crescent, because it is some of the best soil in the world. So it's just a matter of time until Africa's running this shit.
That's actually really dope.
Yeah, there's some really cool things happening. I mean, maybe not great for the American economy immediately, but yeah, it'll all sort itself out.
So is my corn gonna come from Africa eventually?
Like your sweet corn, doubtful. That'll always be a local thing. That's just too fresh for produce to produce somewhere else. But
I mean, since you bitched about your lettuce coming from Disney,
Who knew that Mickey Mouse grew lettuce?
Yeah, I think a lot of people knew that.
yeah,
You guys knew that Mickey Mouse grew lettuce.
I think we all knew that Disney does everything. It's Disney. It's motherfucking Disney.
Fucking Walt Disney and his frozen head under goddamn Disney World.
Speaking of frozen heads under Disney World, we got to get to shit shows, local shit shows. Trashman, you texted our group earlier saying that you have a great one. I think I have a great one. Cowboy, you said you got a good one. Marco, Tyler, do you got anything that's going to come close here?
I don't.
I'm out. Go ahead.
Cowboy, as our guest, why don't you listen to one, and then why don't you give yours, and then one of us will wrap up, all right? Trashman, why don't you're the one that's all pumped. I want you to go first.
All right. So it's Tuesday morning, I believe. And normally
It's Wednesday night, but go ahead.
And normally I call one of my accounts. It's the jail in our county. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to come pick up your trash at this time, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, we'll meet you outside. Normally doesn't happen. Why does the jailers want to come outside? So I go dump in the trash there. And here comes one of the sheriffs. He's coming out of the jail. And he has this real serious fucking look on his face. Real serious. Like, he's holding in a shit or something.
Okay.
So he looks at me, and I know the guys. I'm like, "What's up, Cash?" Blah blah. He's like, "Ronnie, I got some bad news." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "One of your dumpsters got caught on fire last night." I'm like, that's not a surprise. A lot of tweakers around here. And he's like, and he kind of looks at me. He's like, "Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right." And I'm like, well, which one is it? That way I can go switch it out. And he told me, he's like, I just need to know like how much it's worth. And as I'm doing paperwork with him and everything, I'm like, so what did this lady do other than this? Because she's in jail. Normally this is just like a slap on the wrist and go with you guys. And he proceeds to tell me this story. At 11:30 at night, this lady is sleeping inside the dumpster that my family owns behind a community resource center.
Hold on, to be fair here, you told us that you slept on a dumpster, so you're pretty close.
I didn't sleep inside of it. That's the difference. So then I'm like, well, that's kind of fucking odd. And then he's like, okay, then she got out and she wanted to get warm. So she started a fire. I'm like, makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'm following.
Light the dumpster on fire.
Bear Grylls it.
As soon as she realized it was out of hand, she ran away like any sane human would.
To the next dumpster.
Yeah, almost catches community resource center on fire. It's a whole big thing.
Holy shit.
There's more, isn't there?
There's more.
Yeah, of course there's more.
There's always more.
Okay, so that was at 11:30 midnight-ish. Then at 1:30, the alarm goes off at our fairgrounds. She broke into the fairgrounds to break into our livestock area to sleep in the hay.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So as soon as she sees the sheriff's pull up there, she runs away. So a short walking distance from our fairgrounds to our casino is about, probably 300 yards or so. So she decides she's going to go up to the casino and hide because Indian land, you can't go on Indian land and arrest someone without blah, 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 blah. Well, she starts making a ruckus up there. This lady takes her fists as this manager's yelling at her, and she destroys 2 slot machines with her fist. Breaks 5 bones in one of her hand, rips the skin off the top of her fist on the other hand, and almost bleeds out at the casino. That was built last year.
What the fuck?
So, get this. They don't know any of this is connected when they arrest her. They figure she's just some tweaker beating up slot machines. Then when Cash shows up, he's like, all right, like, what are you on? Where'd you get it from? What happened tonight? She goes through and tells him this whole story, and he's like, all right, so I have you for 3 counts of vandalism, breaking and entering, and almost arson. And she's like, no, I started the fire to get warm. I broke into the rodeo grounds or the fairgrounds, so I had somewhere to sleep because I burnt where I was going to sleep before. And the guy at the casino is just a fucking dick. So that's my shit show of the week. Apparently, if you almost burn down a building, break into a fairground, and destroy 2 slot machines, apparently you should just walk away.
Yes.
I got 2 things to say. One, I think we can all agree that was pretty messed up.
Very messed up.
Very messed up.
Secondly, I think Cowboy needs to go find this chick because we might have just found how he can ride this fucking steer if this bitch is breaking into
Oh, God. I'll wear a cage.
You'll need to. I've seen this chick. We actually woke her up inside dumpsters before at the resource center. As soon as he said that she was sleeping in there, I knew which one it was. And I asked her, I'm like, is her name? And he's like, how'd you know? And I'm like, I've had to kick her out of a dumpster about 5 times.
Oh, so hold on. That means that when you get there, you have to get out and check the dumpster first?
Yeah, I have to check it before I dump it every time I go there.
I would never.
That's bullshit, man.
Hold on.
I'm picking it up and dumping.
Thrown her away?
Yeah, you're going to kill her one day.
Well, that's the thing. The reason that we know to check is because one time she didn't wake up and my rookie accidentally put her in the truck. He didn't like compact it or anything.
He threw away the trash.
Because the thing is she carries around this shitty sleeping bag and she gets inside the dumpster and puts the sleeping bag on and she'll roll over. So you just see, like, and it's, fucking 4:00 in the morning. You don't look that close unless you're here, apparently. And you just like, it's just trash. And you just go and you dump it. And that's one of 2 times that we've almost thrown away humans for real. God. The other time, longer story.
Every time, if you squeeze the lime of Ronnie's life, you will get a little bit more juice out of there.
Yep.
You threw her away. Well, your rookie threw her away. Now that's messed up.
It is what it is.
Oh, boy. All right, Cowboy. What's your local shit show, brother?
All right. Well, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, I'm going to start with talking about the Dover Demon. They've been monster stories on that. And this guy that discovered the Dover Demon, I won't go into it, was in my dad's high school class. It's like this alien thing. But my real story was this guy in 2007, 2008. I just want to read the police report because it's funnier than anything I could say. According to a police report, the farm's barn has been targeted at least a dozen break-ins between August 2006 and June 2007. The man grabbed a sheep by its hind legs and dragged it to the corner of the stall, according to police. The man removed his clothes and appeared to have sexual relations with the sheep.
Oh, another sheep fucker.
After finishing, the man put his pants back on and left the barn with his shirt in hand, according to reports. And the barn owner, the farm owner, screamed at reporters that she'd call the cops if they didn't leave. But basically, I knew of this guy in high school. It was a small high school. And he had a girlfriend at the time. So he was arrested for having sex with a sheep. And his girlfriend had to keep going to school knowing that her now ex-boyfriend was sleeping with sheep and barn animals. So the police the police put surveillance on the stalls because she thought like an animal was getting in, and turns out to just be a high school kid. So that's my hometown, Sherburne, Massachusetts. I think population 4,000. It's a beautiful place.
The Velcro
Really?
gloves, man.
God, but it's sometimes man's got to do what man's got to do. But I think this guy comes.
A man does not got to do what a man's got to do with a sheep.
That's what I mean. Like, Jesus Christ. But if you ever find yourself in a low place, just know that this kind of people exist in the world.
Well, that's fucked.
Yeah. So.
And one of them might be your high school agriculture teacher also.
Could be.
What's that supposed to
Tanner,
mean?
what you got?
Trash man. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
So there was a giant fugazi type thing that happened with the old ag teacher at my high school, the one before the one that's there now. So any of my friends, you know which one I'm talking about. But there's rumors that he would fuck the goats and the sheep in our barn at our high school during lunch period, because there would be weird noises coming from said barn during lunch period.
Nice.
My cousin would tell me these stories, and I'd be like, there's no way. And then I saw the guy, and when you see a sheep fucker, you know it.
Hold on, what does a sheep fucker look like?
You know, he looks like a
You'll
goat
know
fucker.
when you see it.
They look just alike.
Except
Yes.
they got a little bit bigger hands.
Oh.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Tanner, make this stop.
All right. I'll move into mine. It isn't going to be as good as Ronnie's. I know it now, but
No, I know they got a creepy beard. They kind of look like Amish, but they're not Amish. You know what I'm saying? With the whole look. Yeah, they're not good-looking people.
They look like
boy.
what Skyline chili tastes like when it's about 2 days old.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta stop this. So I spent I think Tuesday or Wednesday through the weekend down in La Crosse, Wisconsin, helping out my buddy Justin with his stock car, and I was pitting with him, and then so we stay in a camper. I own a camper, and we use it pretty much exclusively for camping at this big Oktoberfest races. It brings in like 10,000 people or something like that, and it's the big short track racing fiesta of the year. It's the end of the year party. Brings in names from all over the country and whatever. It's like Johnny Sauter, if you guys know him. He flew in on Super Sunday just to qualify and race in the big 200 lap feature and stuff. And I go mainly for the partying and like a little bit to help my friend. That's about it. But what the days look like is like you get down to the pit 7, 8 a.m. and you're there working pretty much until like 10, 11 at night whenever you're done racing. And then you go straight to the camper and you party until 3, 4 in the morning. And you do that for 5 days. So now I'm sick and that's why I feel like shit. But it was worth it. So it was Thursday night, I want to say. I'm kind of a Four Loko fiend. I've been a fan of Four Lokos for a long time. I actually enjoy the taste, and that you happen to get really fucked up. And a bunch of my buddies that are a little older, they're like, "Oh, we never really had a Four Loko." So I went down to the Quick Trip gas station and got them all Four Loko because I'm a nice guy like that. And we all enjoyed one, and then we went out to the Pavilion Hall where they had a band, and we were partying, and, free tap beer, and tap beer gets you a little all bubbly and stuff. And I don't really know what happened, but so every year there's this big campsite about as far away from the track as you can get, and they're famous. Like they've been coming for years and years and years. And none of them race; they just come to watch. But they put this big 30-foot flagpole up in the air, and they have a big blinking neon pink flamingo. So that place is called the Pink Flamingo. And the party has gotten so big there that they bring in like a professional DJ each night to their campsite, and they have like a covered dance floor. They book out a campsite to just put in a tent with a dance floor. And this place, I mean, it probably has 400 or 500 people at it, and it gets hopping. It'd be a great time. Marco, if I brought you, your head would been. There's just white women everywhere. And anyways, so we're making our way out there.
I mean,
we were making our way out there, but halfway between my campsite and the Flamingo was our buddies at the 79, and that's this old 79 motorhome. I think it's a Coachman, just a grade A piece of shit. They're known for partying too. So we stopped there, and their neighbors this year were Canadians, Ernie and Johnny. How you doing, hosers? I told them about the podcast, so hopefully they listen. Anyways, they were warming up canned moose meat. And, I had canned moose meat for the first time in my life. Pretty good. So they had this gal at their campsite, their Canadians did, who said she was a local bartender and she was just there partying. And I don't know, she was kind of cute. And one of my buddies was talking to her or whatever. And she said she was at a wedding earlier, so she was wearing a black dress. And this is not the place to wear a black dress. Like, I was wearing coveralls most of the night. And it rained 10 inches, so it was muddier than fuck. So all of us were wearing muck boots. She was barefoot. And it was 40 degrees, so it was cold. So I think my buddy Ferg gave her his sweatshirt, and he's a 3X. So this thing was below her dress. So we walk over to the Flamingo together with this gal. I don't know, there's 6, 7 of us. So it's almost albino guy, a fat guy with a beard who races, a barefoot wearing a sweatshirt longer than her dress bartender who we've never met, and 2 Canadians and then a couple other guys. We're a fucking motley crew to paint a picture.
What a crew.
We roll up to the Flamingo and we start partying. I mean, it was go time. So 3, 4 o'clock, they're finally shutting it down or whatever, and we go to head back, and the mud's getting pretty deep. And this gal was following us, and she falls face first into the mud. It was out of a movie. I turned back, and it was slow motion. She falls into the mud and just covers herself. And instead of freaking out, this is the coolest girl ever, she just gets up, wipes her face off, and keeps walking. And I was like, well, where are you sleeping tonight? Because my camper's full, and I'm really looking for riffraff, And she's like, oh, no, I'll figure it out. I was like, you're not driving. She's like, oh, no. I had 4 DUIs. I lost my license. Ah, gotcha. Sounds good. Well, we're in too small of a town to Uber, so I was curious what was going to happen. So she said that she knew someone that was camping there and whatever, no problem. So we wake up at, 7, 8 a.m., and we come out of the camper, and I go into the bathrooms, the public bathrooms, to take a quick shower and take a piss. And I open the shower, and there is this girl covered in mud sleeping in the fucking shower. Just chilling. I was like, what are you fucking doing here? She's like, oh, it was warmer in here, so I slept here last night. And that was
shit.
A pretty bizarre night.
You asked for a ring size?
What's that? She was married, or at least she was wearing a ring.
Oh.
I think she just likes to party.
All right.
I mean, she didn't really break any laws. She just, she was going out to have a good time, and she fucking had a good time.
Sounds like it.
I just had to tell you guys that because I've never experienced something quite so out of control.
That's impressive.
And you retired from Four Loko.
Yeah, I did. I did retire from Four Loko. So we had Four Lokos, and I ate bear sticks. It was jalapeno cheddar bear sticks, like snack sticks.
So you had bear and moose.
Yep, in the same night, actually.
Nice.
And I have never had heartburn in my life before, and I'll never do it again because that was the right combo. Moose plus bear plus jalapeno plus cheddar plus Four Loko. My esophagus felt like somebody had shit down it. It was so painful.
It's the most random story of all time.
I cannot do it. I cannot do it anymore. I had to retire. Marco, if you puke on this podcast, I'll fucking kill you. You've turned pale as a ghost. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's the whitest person here. It makes 0 sense.
It's the screen.
But
Right.
yeah, I had to retire from Four Lokos after that. All day in the pits, I was just drinking water, trying to like Google things to get rid of heartburn. I could not make it go away. It felt so bad. I've never had that feeling before. I always thought people who like talked about heartburn were pussies. I am so sorry for ever doubting you people. I felt like ass.
Heartburn sucks.
Yeah,
really
I
does.
hope I never get it ever again. If I do, I'm done. I'm just giving up. Fucking kill me. I'm done.
I've never had it.
But yeah, that's the lacrosse Oktoberfest races are not for the weak of heart because we do party like rock stars.
It sounds
But-
like my type of party.
Ronnie, you would fit in so well. I saw so many skullets. It was insane.
Really?
Dude,
My people.
it's NASCAR, but even poorer. You know how many shirts I saw, or you know how many Dale hats I saw? It was insane.
Ain't no party like a trailer trash party.
Right. Praise hell, praise Dale.
Exactly.
Yee!
Well, I think that wraps it up, man. I don't know if anyone's got anything else pressing.
No, I think we're pretty good. We talked about quite a few things.
Yeah, we're always
We
all over the
covered
place.
the entire spectrum today, I believe.
Jay, Cowboy, I appreciate you coming on, buddy. It was good having you. Why don't you plug all the socials again? We're going to promote the shit out of your podcast and blogs for sure.
All Hat No Cattle is what I'm trying to start up. It's kind of in the new stages. Richards JS, I think, all one word.
Gotta work on that.
Yeah, and that's it, man. Thanks for letting me on and talking about a sport that no one probably cares about, but hopefully they do after this.
It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I'm your host at Vanilla Gorilla. We got at Trashman Ronnie, at K Pasta Primo, at Tyler Allen, out in the cave in Nebraska. We are the Anomalies, the ___underline. What the hell were you saying it is, Ronnie?
It was under dash, okay?
Okay,
It was
it's
the upper middle back.
at the negative sign laying on the ground.
Negative
Anomalies.
sign laying on the ground anomalies. That's what it is from now on.
Uh,
We are your favorite gaggle of idiots. Thanks for listening. We're here to promote everything that you just don't need to care about, but you need to laugh at. So thanks for listening along. We appreciate it. You guys have a great night. We're out.
Quick PSA: don't sleep in dumpsters.
Is he?
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Brian.
Don't invite me to your career day.